So yeah, that was my
Mhm.
today was my first experience at someone attempting to pig butcher me.
Really?
Yeah,
I, I, your first one?
the first time try to pig butcher me. So that whole scam. Yeah, some gal sent me
Oh,
some photos asking if we were hanging out or whatever. It was cool. I said I don't know her,
yeah.
and she's like, oh, are you not this person? I said no, I'm not that person. She sent me some photos of her. She's an attractive woman. I'm like, yeah, this is a pig butchering scheme. And so
Mm,
I managed to navigate that, and I learned
yeah.
a lot about that from John Oliver's videos of his little show a few months back, and so
Oh,
just keep an eye
totally.
on that. But yeah, scammers are out there; they'll try to get you, man. And
Yeah.
I do respect the hustle, but I don't respect the ethics of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not alone. You're definitely not alone in that. I mean, I am surprised the first time that,
It's the first time it's
wait,
happened.
we're recording an episode today, right?
Speaking of not being alone,
Yeah. 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 Oh my
we
God.
are joined by a guest today, a very fine gentleman from one of the finest places in these United States. We are joined by one Trevor William Church. Trevor, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, man. Pleasure to
We
be on.
it is a pleasure, man. It is a pleasure.
Yeah,
Now, Trevor, you from my understanding, you engage in musical performance and recording.
I do so.
You
I
do
do.
so.
I
My
play in
God.
Haunt and Beastmaker. Also, I've had my own label now, as you know, for like 8 years now
Yeah.
that I've
Church
done,
recordings.
yeah, church recordings. I made it very simple. And that's
Rolls off
pretty
the
much
tongue.
what I've been doing for the last 11 years of my existence on the planet.
And it's a hell of an existence, sir.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
think I've known you for like 10 of those now,
Pretty
easily.
much. I met you first time at the Beastmaker. It was like the 7-inch release show,
It was the Dynamite Vinyl
Dynamite
Show.
Vinyl show. Rest in peace,
Yeah.
Dynamite Vinyl. Yeah, in
Mhm.
Fresno. And
Wow.
I remember the thing about that always struck me was you and I was kind of talking and like before the show and we're hanging out and you're just like, oh fuck, I forgot this thing. I'm like, oh okay, I'm gonna go to my house. Hey man, you wanna come with me to my house? And I was like, okay. He's like, you put me in your van and abducted me to your house and like showed me the room that you like basically taped together to record all that shit. Like it looked like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure you had like all like the sound dampening just like duct tape to the walls was I'm pretty sure what it was.
Pretty much. I mean, that was before we bought this house. You
Mhm.
you actually saw the house that I used to rent, which
Yeah.
nobody. I mean, that's like a hit. That's forgotten.
Oh, that's some
Yeah,
lore, man. It was a tiny ass room, and I remember like
yeah.
I'm
Crazy.
pretty sure you
Walking
just like got
bedroom. It was
got people's like old foam mattresses and taped them to the walls.
it was pretty rugged back in those days.
And that's
I
that's
was
the
trying to
pig
save
butchering scheme
I was
was.
trying to save up to buy a house, so I was
Yeah,
like
and
really.
that rough sound came through on this first Beastmaker
Oh,
recordings, and
I'm sure
it
it
got you a
did.
record deal, buddy. So what can I say? It worked.
It
Yeah,
worked.
what's funny about that is like when Rise Above signed us, because like we recorded that EP in the bedroom, not even like using like the cheapest microphones in the business. And I was like, where do you want us to go? Do you want us to go record in LA? What do you want us to do? He's like, well, what'd you do on this EP? And I was like, we recorded it in my bedroom. He's like, sounds good to me. Just do that. And I was like, all right, I guess this is what we're doing. And we had never actually done like a full album before. So it was kind of daunting within itself to be like, oh shit. 4 songs was like easy. Now we got to actually put an album together and do this. Like, are you
Yeah.
kidding
Yeah.
me? You know?
Um, so really interesting. So today's episode is really interesting. It's kind of come along. I felt like I just threw it out there, and both of you agreed to it, and now it's kind
Oh
of
yeah.
like it's actually much more organic than I realized. Like it's kind of
Oh,
shockingly organic.
very much so.
Yeah. Do you want to describe it, Bill? Like kind of like what the thought is today, or
Yeah. So today we're going to be talking about sort of growing up rock and roll is how
I mean,
you
it's a great
pitched
title.
it
I'm
to
sorry, that was the
me.
best title I
Oh,
could come up with. Like I
it's
think
great.
it's great.
No, it's awesome, and it's kind of like Trevor and myself growing up in households that are not only very rock and roll focused, but with parents and like family members who are playing the music and who are touring and who are doing
Doing the thing.
these projects, doing the thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
putting in the
Living
work.
the dream, baby.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
They
And
really were. They really were, and it was it was strange because it wasn't really like forced on me at all. It was very.
No.
It's funny you say organic because it was just like, here's a drum set in the corner.
yeah,
Here's a 5 guitars in this room. Like, and back in the 80s, like there's my dad's like his his radio was like fucking a whole wall, in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Real
room.
system, yeah.
It wasn't like what you have today where you have like all these powered monitors, everything was like passive electronics. So you had to have like your fucking massive power amp,
Yeah,
you had to have your
yeah,
EQ, all
yeah.
that. So it was really
Oh
like
yeah.
there,
It was furniture,
Yeah.
man. It was legitimate furniture to have
Yeah.
audio gear. I remember my uncle's house had this like gorgeous wooden cabinet, like hand carved wooden cabinet that opened up to reveal his like reel to reel player and all the stereo gear and shit.
Oh,
It was
that's so
gorgeous, yeah.
cool.
I have the reel to reel that my dad used actually from like the 19 probably from the um like 77 probably
Wow.
through
Wow.
the 80s that like Sam because back in those days they would send each other tape
Yep.
like reel to reel
Yep.
tape. It's
Yep.
kind of fucking crazy to think about it, that you have like a canister,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
you're sending it back and forth or you're
Yeah.
trading it back and forth, that they use like he would plug in to the amplifier directly into the reel to reel, and that was the amp. So he
Yeah.
would do the bass riffs,
That's
and then like
crazy.
they'd send it back and forth to each other to kind of get things
Yeah.
fleshed out before obviously making an album back in those days was expensive. So
Yes.
Oh
they
yeah.
had they had to have a little bit of like, all right, this is what we're doing before we go here. So,
Yep.
because they had producers and things that don't really exist anymore in the same way.
So that was a fine preview of what we'll be
Very
talking about
much
today, because we're not even the opening, and Trevor's like
No.
dumping the lore dump on us here, and I'm
the
looking forward to
lore.
some lore dumps here. So
We're gonna have some lore dumps.
as a fanboy outsider here, I'm very much now looking forward to this and everything.
Mhm.
Folks, enjoy our opening theme here. We'll be back with more than metal and talking growing up rock and roll. Bill,
Yes.
what are you listening to?
1,000 Eyes.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yes. So there's an artist called 1,000 Eyes who I discovered from a horror indie game called Signalis. It's a beautiful,
Mm.
beautiful eldritch horror game. And the soundtrack was done a lot by an artist named 1,000 Eyes who just released a new album called Charon, and it's really good. It's like kind of ambient
Yeah.
electronic, and I've been really
It's
digging
trip
it. I've
hop,
been
dude.
really-
I listen
Yeah.
to it. It's trip hop right now.
Oh, you've heard it?
No,
Oh, yeah,
but
it's trip
I
hop.
listened to
Yeah.
enough of it to know what it is.
Yes, it's
like,
trip hop. It's very much that. It's kind of ambient electronic, and it's very,
I
very fun,
have
very
that
fun.
skill. I can listen to a snippet of something and tell you a lot
Oh,
about
yeah.
it very quickly.
You
Yeah,
said Karen. Is it spelled like the merciful the
Yeah.
King Diamond song?
yeah. It's just Sharon or how
Charon, yeah.
So
yeah.
so it
Charon.
has some sort of like dark
Dead.
cult
Yeah,
Yes.
ferryman of the
Styx-
Greek underworld.
River
Yeah,
Styx
Yes,
kind of.
yes.
All right,
it's very
that's-
haunting. It's a very haunting trip hop. It's a very like
Mhm.
slow trip hop, like really extended. Takes its time with the trip hop, which I like a lot because
Yes.
growing up in the '90s, like trip hop was becoming pretty prevalent. Like I
Mhm.
fucking love sneaker pimps when I was growing up and shit.
Yeah.
And I can see this being kind of a chill vibe version of that.
It's really good.
It reminds
Highly
me of
recommend.
a space between trip hop and dungeon synth.
That is absolutely the kind of niche that 1,000
Yeah.
Eyes operates
And
in. and very, very good. Like I
I
said,
think
highly recommend it.
that's a smart fucking place to be actually right now
Oh
musically.
yeah,
I think that's clever. So
definitely.
I'm gonna give us a bigger listen, but
You
yeah,
should. Very
this is a
fun.
cool one. Hey,
Yeah.
Trevor, what about you, man? What's something you've been listening to lately?
Oh man, I've been on this like I've been listening to Crucifixion, Take It or Leave It. I don't know if you guys are familiar with
I am
Crucifixion.
not.
So they're an old British band, and
Yeah,
it's
Oh.
spelt weird. It's like it's
yeah,
Crucifixon.
from like
Okay.
early
Fiction.
'80s.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's good,
early
dude.
80s, Take It or Leave It. Great single. But I also earlier today I was listening. So like as far as new music goes, earlier today, I don't know if I like love them or I'm just gonna just or I hate it. I don't know yet. But a band from Charleston, South Carolina, they're called Interceptor, and this
Mm.
song called Metal Death. They kind of have like a definitely like a southern version of like Venom.
Oh,
That sounds
dude,
Um,
this is like
awesome.
super looking like the Venom shit.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
basically like a Venom like
Yeah,
revival. I don't really know if I like I said, like, do I love it? I don't know. I think it's cool, but I also am like kind of like that guy that is like, you gotta have I like people to have their own shtick sometimes a little,
yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Absolutely.
and if it's too much of something, I kind of like I'm like, well, you know, it
yeah.
is
No,
what it is. But is it done well? And I think they kind of like, for what it's worth, I like to see young people doing stuff, and they're like young guys in comparison to myself, who's, I
who's
just
younger than
turned,
me?
I,
Thanks.
I just turned 40. I mean, I literally just turned 44 like 2 days ago. So like to see dudes
Happy
in their
birthday.
in their in their 20s,
Yeah,
kind of like doing the thing. I want them to be. I always know this. That's where they start. That's not where they're gonna be
yeah,
later.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
to hear such promise early, they're gonna stumble onto their own thing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I feel like
mm,
they're like a good band, but like Crucifixion is genius. I mean, for its
yeah.
time, I always find myself going back to like the neat record stuff. So like I've been listening, that was literally what I was listening to earlier today. I had to go pick up a trailer to we're playing a gig tomorrow, and I went to pick up the trailer, and that's what the first thing I put on was
Nice,
Nice.
nice.
Crucifixion.
Now, I've
I'll
been
check it
listening
out.
to recently this little album from a band, and the album's called Ignite. It just came out. It just
Oh,
came out. It's from a little band called Haunt. Came out on August 13th, so 2 days ago. Happy
Yes, on
birthday.
my birthday.
very
On your birthday. Very
recently.
nice.
Yes, yes.
And I was really enjoying this one, dude. I want to be clear, it is a Haunt album. Like it sounds like Haunt, which is that high flying, kind of triumphant, coming out of like a. Sorry to tell you how your music comes off to me here, Trevor, but get ready for it.
Yeah.
Haunt's a band that I've always felt like embraces triumph. You'll hear me talk about that with music a lot. Like the idea is you kind of rise above it, you kind of get through the shit, and you're
Yes.
trying to like be the next step up. Um, and if you this album kind of reminds me of some of the songs in there remind me of probably one of the most popular Haunt songs, which is "Burst into Flames."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That if you've been to a Haunt show, you will see the pit open the fuck up during "Burst into Flames."
Yeah.
That is like it is wild, and everyone sings along and shit. That album, but this kind of captures a bit of that vibe. But I did notice there were some new elements to this album. I thought that there's a lot more synthesizer on it. I feel
A
like
little
a
bit.
little bit
A
more,
little bit.
yeah. And I kind of like those intros and those kind of like transitions you did with it. They were really good. But yeah, no, I'm always looking forward to new Haunt. I put it on and it fucking sounds good and it rocks out.
I think the last song is the big throw everybody a curveball. If I said goodnight, because
Yeah.
it's just like starts off very clean, and I don't really do a
Yeah,
lot of clean tone.
your vocals on that are some of your best, actually, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's a good fucking album.
I put a lot of thought into this as I've been getting older, and what
The
and
theme of the
what it
day.
yeah, like what it is that I want to like portray musically to people,
Mm,
like what I currently am feeling in my life, not so much of like trying just to like keep the status quo of what Haunt is expected to do.
hmm.
Hmm.
It's to kind of be like, you know what, I'm gonna sing a little bit differently. I don't yell as much on this record. That's
Yeah, I
one
noticed
thing that
that.
it's very,
Oh.
very different from some of the previous records. Is like I kind of let that like die off a little bit. There's still some of it there, but it was an area where I was like, as I get older, I find myself when I go to like do it, I don't vibe with it as much as I once did. And I really
Hmm.
wanted to make that like a point on this record of like, hey, I've done like a lot of albums with that, and it's time that I want to be a little bit more focused on who I currently am and what the trajectory of the future
Mm,
looks like in my music, which is like you said, like there's always like this triumphant
mm,
area of like, because I always have used my music as like it's like a journal of my life.
mm,
Haunt has
Yeah.
never been a band of like uh fantasy. It's like all the songs are of reality.
mm.
And
Yeah.
that's a hard thing to do in heavy metal, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't a lot of people don't fuck with it because it's easier to be a certain thing
Yeah.
and not wear your heart on your sleeve and be like
You can
and
just,
have the emotion of yourself to it.
yeah. You can just write
Um,
songs
Yeah.
like Girls, Girls, Girls. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
but
seriously.
then again, is there anything wrong with that?
No,
But the
no.
thing is, I can't do that like
Yeah.
that. There's just what I'm here for is to connect to the people that have either I wouldn't really say I struggled with addiction, but you know that I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
I'm recently like basically weed free
Oh,
starting
shit.
January. I haven't smoked weed in like
Wow.
eight
Congratulations, dude.
months. So I mean, but I
Congratulations.
don't drink. I haven't drank alcohol as you know, like it's
Yeah.
just a part of my lifestyle. No booze. So I always kind of like try to, and you know, in death, because I've had like a lot of tragedy within my
Mm,
family that I've always talked about and been very open about in my songs. So that's always kind of there, but that's where it's kind of like you're just throwing these really terrible obstacles sometimes in life. And I try to like encapsulate like what it means to rise above that and be
mm,
triumphant in it and not let these things tear you down, break you down, rip you to pieces, and leave you
yeah.
broken. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So you're
And
right on the triumphant thing. Like there is like I agree with you on that because that's my message.
mhm.
I
Yeah.
will say it's hard to do that in like in metal, and it's even harder for that to come across effectively. And I think that's something that this new album really does well.
Yeah.
I got that. I totally got what you're talking about. And I was like, oh, this is the vibe. Yeah,
That
it's
it
fucking
is.
great.
I'm not kidding you. I've usually in the past, like when I'm putting stuff together, I'm not, I was really, really technical about my lyrics on this one. Like sometimes
Mm,
I'll just let some shit fly because like I wrote it and I was like, I can't, like this just has to be what it is. And
yeah.
this time around, like when I was like putting it into perspective, I wanted it to really mean more than it just being a placeholder because it worked.
Yeah.
Because that sometimes happens. I'll be honest. I mean, every musician on the planet Earth, every songwriter is going to be, they would be lying to themselves if they said that they had never done that before, where just something worked and it got you by. It gets through it.
Mhm.
It
Mm.
works. Whatever. Was it a great lyric? Not maybe not. So I was like more or less really trying to go for something to where I was like, I'm writing really heartfelt lyrics and they should make sense if read. You
Yeah.
know
Mm.
what I mean?
Um,
Well, that's the
so
present.
that's the present.
Now the past.
Well, another thing is you've been doing over the last few years too. I thought was really cool. I remember seeing the write up in Decibel, and I remember you promoting it on Facebook and through social media. Was this biography of your dad,
Yeah.
Bill the Electric Church.
That's it's the best.
It's the best fucking name.
Nickname.
It's so good. I'm actually wearing, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm wearing his necklace. It's a little lightning bolt.
That's
and,
so cool.
Everybody thinks Sammy gave him that name, and he did not.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know who?
It was God, I can't think of his name right now, but it was the drummer that played on the Sammy Hagar Red album, I think, because they were in Abbey Road Studios, and they didn't have a band. It was like my dad and Sammy and two session guys. So there was like no like real band. I can't remember. I might be wrong, but from what I know of the story, is Sammy was like, "Hey, so what do you think of Bill's playing, to this like session, this English session drummer guy?" And he was like, "Oh man, he's electric." And my dad was known as the Electric Church ever since.
Was it Scott Matthews?
Yes, Scott Matthews.
Yeah, okay. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so that's who it was. And that guy's legendary within itself. He was a massive sessions player, played on all kinds of stuff as far as I know. But Sammy kind of took credit like he generally does in his narcissist lifestyle of like, I do no wrong. I'm Sammy Hagar. Bullshit spiel, which I will always kind of like slap down, because after dealing with him with doing my dad's book, oh man, that guy was a real piece of work.
And
that's too bad.
We should mention too that you are also the publisher of the book.
Yeah, I published it.
So
because it was easy, because the vinyl manufacturer, since they already deal with obviously making jackets, inserts, and all that, I just said, "Hey, can you guys do books?" And they're like, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
And that was also from Martin Popoff, who I asked him about it in the beginning. And he said, his last book before he worked on my dad's, he self-published, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
He said it was the way to go, because you'd never make, you would never make your money back. You'd never blah, 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 which kind of goes with the times, I suppose.
Yeah. And I also like it too, because it also goes back to your like DIY approach. I mean, you record out of your house. We were talking about this. You record out of like, little back bedroom, whatever you have slapped together, put together. You're very hands-on. I've people that I know that have recorded with you and have worked with are like, they like that a lot. You're a very approachable dude. Like, that's always one thing I've liked about you too, is that, I've messaged you like the dead of night, and you get back. You've actually texted me like, what I remember the one time, who was it to go see? It was who did we go see in Sacramento? You texted me that
St. Vitus with Scott Riegers.
Yeah. You text me and we're like, "Hey, this is at Sacramento, man. Can I come and you can drive me up there?" And I was like, "Sure." And you came to my house, and like we just got in the car and went up there and fucking did the thing and hung out,
for sure.
And so I always like that kind of hands-on, like you go to shows and shit. Because there's a lot of bands that will just sit there and be like, fuck it, I'm not playing, so I'm not gonna go to it.
You know what was hella funny? Our last time seeing each other, I think it was at the 3 Inches of Blood show in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And your nephew Sam was there.
Yeah.
And he I seriously think he thought that I forgot who he was.
Oh yeah.
He was standing there all like,
he was all awkward. Yeah. Waiting to talk to you.
Weird. I'm like, so Sam, he's like, oh, he like lit up. I was like, because like I didn't say anything to him. It was just funny because John and I know each other quite well, so we're like talking, and Sam was just kind of like
my nephew, who I should mention is like 35.
Yeah.
So it's like he's an adult, like he's not like a kid.
Yeah, Sam is great, but I thought
he's great.
Really
funny. A lot of it too is like, dude, we just saw you on stage with like 3 Inches of Blood. Like, so he's kind of intimidated because like that's like a big band to us, But yeah, I mean, that's a big thing too, is I think that when you have to always like keep the fans in mind to some degree and be like cool.
I try to remember everybody's name. I know I'm closer to my fans. I'm closer to my fans than I am probably 3/4 of my family members.
Well, that's actually a hell of a segue.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And so this was really interesting. We kind of came here with some ideas like relationships of like the idea of like growing up in a rock and roll family,
Yeah.
and knowing who Trevor's dad is. For those that don't know, Bill, you mind me just saying it real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bill's mother is Nancy Wilson of Heart, and those are there were some kind of tangents there. We maybe
Yes.
played together a show, but what we found out was really interesting right before the show was that Bill's mother's cousin it's Denny
No,
Carmassi.
my mom's
Mom's
cousin.
Your
Yeah.
mom's cousin
My mom's
is your
cousin.
mom's cousin is Denny Carmassi, who was the
Yes.
drummer for Heart from 80, I think 82 to 93.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Played on quite a
about
few
11
albums.
years, more than a decade.
And was also in Montrose, and I mean played on,
Yes.
as we've discovered. Let me list this. Oh, it's everybody.
Everybody.
Fucking
Everybody.
Everybody that matters, he played
Yeah,
for.
and like when I say people that matter, I mean like Stevie Nicks, Whitesnake, David Coverdale.
Oh yeah.
Fucking Ted Nugent comes up in here, for better or for worse. Freaking
Oh, boy.
Jimmy Page comes up in here. I mean, these are not like light names to throw around in music.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. And you
He's
even
the
mentioned.
cheap. Hey, he was the cheap he was the cheap John Bonham. He was the living version
Discount
of
John Bonham.
Fair enough.
Because like
That's
he
so
did
funny.
Montrose really was kind of a Led Zeppelin ripoff, if you're gonna ask me.
Oh
Shit,
my god.
here we go, dude.
Here we go again.
So I mean, even the beat that is like super famous for Montrose, Rock Candy, I feel like that's like the ultimate John Bonham ripoff drum beat of all time.
Okay.
Do do
Yeah.
do ba do do ba ba do 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 ba, and then the roll ta 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 ta, which Lars
Yeah.
Ulrich stole for Sad But True.
Yep.
Okay, so I gotta be clear. Before you came on, we had our episode before, and I was talking kind of going over the episode stuff with Bill, and I was like, "Hey, Bill, just so you know, like Trevor doesn't hold back." And Bill,
Yeah,
like, "Oh, that's
I was-
fine, that's fine." I don't
I
think he
was
knew. Like,
warned.
it's like, yeah, Bill's heard me call some people out, but like, I not to this degree. So
Oh shit! Well,
No, I
I mean,
love it.
I say it in all humor and
you
and
admire these people too. That's the thing. Like,
yeah,
and
these
Bill
are
and I
people
talked
I
about this-
look up to, and I think they're great. I'm just saying that's kind of like there's a truth behind that. You know what I mean? He was
Yeah.
their whole thing was to try to get that John Bonham big drum sound. It was a
man.
big thing for Ted Templeman, and Denny was realistically was the only guy in that time that was actually capturing that correctly. You know what I mean? Because you have dudes like God, I can't think of his name right now, but from like Blue Oyster Cult. What's that drummer's name? I can't even think right now.
Oh yeah.
Albert, Alan, something. I can't remember. He was real technical. He was real technical and had like a lot of very busy drummer. There's a lot of busy drummers in those times. Very jazz oriented drumming and rock. And Denny was real straightforward, hard hitting. You even go look at the drum set in Montrose, 26-inch Ludwig kit, the biggest cymbal probably Zildjian made at the time, like everywhere. I don't even think there was a ride. I think he just used one big ass crash cymbal the whole time. So I mean,
the trash can lid.
he was really like the cheap alive John Bonham.
So this whole notion though of like having these like kind of legacy elements to the family, and growing up hearing about this. I mean, I grew up hearing about like my grandpa's hardware store back in South Dakota and everything, and that kind of life and everything. But like having it be like where the work is being recorded and distributed that you can see it about, and other people, oh, I've heard that, I've seen that, I've heard that. Like, I don't expect motherfuckers to be like, hey, oh, I heard about your grandpa's hardware store you owned in the freaking 30s and shit back in South Dakota, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
that's not a realistic expectation. But like, I'm kind of curious what this this kind of environment was. So Bill, like, I mean, you and we've talked about a few stories of like when we talked about you seeing Joan Jett from basically like the stage essentially.
Yeah, from side stage
and everything. What is it like to grow up in this kind of environment? Like what kind of things do you have to convey about that? I'd love to hear you and Trevor kind of discuss like those kind of elements and just the access to Trevor was talking about this earlier too, was just the access to like, if you want to do that, you can right now. It's not an obstacle to like, if you want to pick up a drum or a guitar and just like strum it, you could right now, not having to like go out of your way. So I'm just kind of curious to hear about that kind of growing up with that.
So I think so. The funny thing is, I think where Trevor and I diverge is Trevor can play fucking music. I cannot. I can't. I tried. I tried to pick up the bass, and I had my mom even try and teach me like a few chords and kind of try to give me some lessons. And not everybody can say that they have a teacher like that.
Yeah.
No way.
It just didn't click. It just did not click for me. And that is just like, I just thought that was like in like kind of from a bird's eye view, like from an outside perspective, that's fucking insane.
I mean, you have to remember though, there's like to become a musician, there's a lot of discipline involved, and sometimes we're just not prepared for that. And you don't know that you might actually end up picking up an instrument one day.
Yeah.
Or finding your musical self later in life, because I mean, it wasn't like when I was growing up that I just like got behind something, was like really taken by it, because I wasn't for a long time. And I'll be quite honest, and I know I've said this before many times, I always thought my dad's shit was hella lame. And a lot of that is because I was born in the Bay Area, and at that time in San Francisco and around that area, skateboarding was really huge in the 80s. We're talking like 1986, 87. I'm like this big. I'm like tiny. The skateboard is like as big as me. And I'm like all about it. Like there's just something that made me gravitate to that. And then it made me gravitate to Thrasher magazine, which actually showed me the bands that ended up sculpting what I listened to. Because I'm like, who's that? And then I'm like, Dad, because we went, Tower Records was a religion back in my
dude.
Growing up.
Those kids nowadays don't understand how fucking badass like a big ass record store was.
It was
the hub
tight.
for culture. If you wanted fucking tickets, you went to Tower Records.
You did, yeah.
You couldn't just buy them online. Yeah,
you could not. So it was a thing that we went to Tower Records a lot. And I mean, they had everything back then. They had the most underground shit you could find. And so, I mean, I was very into punk rock music, and my dad was not punk rock at all. My dad, as far as I'm concerned, and what Sammy Hagar and those fucking guys did, was corporate rock.
So funny.
For that time, Jello Biafra makes fun of Sammy Hagar and Dead Kennedys, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, Dead Kennedys are like making fun of Sammy Hagar. It's on the Bedtime for Democracy record. There's like this little commercial that Jello Biafra does. He's like, no, he's talking a bunch of shit on everybody. And the first thing he says is something about Sammy Hagar. It's really funny. But
that's so funny.
Anyway, so I wasn't really into what my dad was doing at the house. And it ended up being, it was years later before I touched an instrument. So I don't know. So I first instrument I kind of messed with was drums, because it was like, you didn't really need any talent to make noise yet. In the nicest
You heard
way.
it here first, folks.
It was just always like pop, 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 do. You know, you could just kind of just swing your arms like a fucking barbarian, and noise came out. Whereas the guitar, you're like, I don't even know what to do with this thing right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or your hand is like tiny. I mean, imagine a 6-year-old grabbing an acoustic guitar. You're like, fuck.
Yeah, what am I supposed to do with this?
This is like Mount Everest right now. Like,
oh yeah,
I can't climb this battle, but I'm sure you guys had like musical instruments laying around. Did you not?
Oh yes, in every room of the house, in nearly every room except for maybe mine. Yeah, so which is really funny because now my brother, my brother is currently up in Canada, so we're not living together right now. But when we were growing up together, he usually had the instruments in his room because he plays guitar now. And he usually he gravitated much more towards it. I gravitated much more towards drawing. So I was like, I don't really know if guitar is for me. And you're right, Trev, I might pick it up later in my life, but
you might. You don't know.
I might. I never know. But it was really funny.
And I'll be honest with you, because as you know, like I know Sammy Hagar's kids.
Yeah.
You got some seriously big shoes to fill.
Believe me,
where I'm the son of a bass player. Oh, John understands it 100%. It's like my shoes to fill. Like my dad is a badass bass player. When it comes to bass playing, I'm probably better than him now. I'll smoke his ass, but that's only because I'm guitar shredder and he's not. My dad is very brilliant and very amazing musician. It was crazy growing up around him because like you don't really see bass players run the show of bands.
Yeah.
And all the bands he was in, they all were like, well, what should we do? You know, or what do we do? How do you know, like my dad really ran the circus, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
But you know, I've watched this Sammy's kids have always tried to like, you know, they try to start something and it's very complicated to step out into that because there's going to be a lot of criticisms and things that which kind of sucks and as far as a creative thing, it's kind of stifling because you're like, dude, let me just be. You have to. There's something I always say, and I've worked with I'm still working with one of Sammy's kids. I'm like, there's a developmental area of music where you're just developing what you're trying to do.
Yeah. And you have something to be good.
You have to be able to go through a lot of it without, you know, being beaten down just because of nepotism. You know what I mean? So to speak, because that's the first thing that'll get thrown out there. And that's when I'll talk about Wolfgang Van Halen, the worst of them all, because he's just so wealthy. He's able just to like pay these managers. I've already like been in so many debates with his people about what he does already. It's insane. And he's actually kind of like an okay player. It's just his music is like typical LA produced bullshit that just sucks. So I'm not into it. I'm sorry. I think I even to the name.
Really?
He just regurgitated the name of what Van Halen once was supposed to be. And so, I mean, I feel like there's just a lot of lack of actual real ideas and he needs to develop. You know what I'm saying? And that's coming from me. I mean, I'm just a heavy metal guy. I'm an underground guy. Like I grew up very, very poor and not with a lot of stuff. So like, yeah, we had a lot of instruments, but we didn't have the things that would spark a major mainstream musical career in my family.
Yeah.
Like for rock and roll and no connections at all. Dad's bass player. Nobody gave a fuck. And my dad actually stopped music to raise me, which sometimes I think is like great because when it comes down to sometimes when you hear from people that they have famous parents, sometimes there's a little void in there. I don't know if that's, the case of a mother, which I feel is, a whole other realm because moms are way different than dads. Plain and
Totally.
Yeah,
simple.
Totally.
sure.
Plain and simple. But dads are, I'm glad I got a dad to play catch with me. I had a dad to like take me to shows. Like he took me to see Anthrax. Like
Oh
That's
shit.
fucking
how many
awesome.
11-year-olds are going to Anthrax?
Yeah, 90, that's like what, 93, 92. That's
Oh,
a
that's
that's a
fucking
good era of
cool.
Anthrax, dude.
That was a great era,
Oh my
Anthrax. I think they
God.
were on tour with Primus too.
Oh fuck, dude.
What?
Why are you making
Oh
us hate
my
you now? Like
God.
now you're gonna make us hate us. Or hate you.
So,
Like
so
yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's just this like an area of like, so growing up rock and roll, and then at that time, my dad actually worked in a music store here in Fresno. It's no longer, and it's sad.
Mm.
I lived down the street from it, and they just bulldozed the
oh.
entire property,
Ugh,
Soundstage Music, and
Yeah, okay.
anybody in
sucks.
Fresno will have known Soundstage. Um, and like since my dad was kind of like a well-known musician and all that and worked at a music store, he kind of got away with a lot of shit because when I was in town visiting, I was able, they would just sit me in a corner with a guitar and like they're like, my dad was working and I'm just sitting there trying out all the guitars.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
strangely there was a guy there because like you remember I said I thought my dad was lame
Yeah.
musically. There was a guy there. He ended up working for Polestar. You guys familiar with Polestar?
Oh, that sounds really familiar.
Polestar is like this like they're like an analytics company for music.
Okay.
Um
Oh, that's what it is. That's where I know it from.
everybody's heard of it that is in the music industry somewhere. It's just it'll come up somewhere. But Brian Bradley worked at Soundstage, and Brian Bradley was in this like kind of 90s, early 90s metal band in Fresno called World Knowledge. But he
Mm.
showed me how to do Tony Iommi when I
Okay.
was
Oh,
like 12. He's
that's
like,
so
and he
cool.
would tell me, he'd go, "Hey, Trev, homie doesn't have fingertips, bro." He's like, they're pieces of leather. It's like a
Yeah.
thimble. And he's like, to get that sound, you actually have to play it up here. And he showed me to play it on the higher, like on the 12th fret of
Mm.
the E instead of the 7th fret on the A, where he would do it
Interesting.
to get that tone. So I got like a
Wow.
lot of
Little
stuff
insider
actually came.
tips.
A lot of shit came from like it is growing up rock and roll, but I grew up in the poor version. Let's just be clear.
No, yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's a big
my dad had a minimum wage. He was like a Guitar Center employee in the 90s.
yeah. Well, and I also know you grew up in Calaveras, which is a rough area if you're not from that's up in the mountains, like by
Yeah.
Sonora, um, and the like. But yeah, I think that's really interesting. That acts. It sounds like you had a lot of access though to the
Yeah.
actual like music, not. And I think it's maybe one of the misnomers of saying growing up rock and roll is like not the rock and roll lifestyle, but like actual
Oh,
fucking music.
I've never experienced like the only times I've ever seen the rock and roll lifestyle is like at a Sammy Hagar show, which is like probably some of the lamest shit I've ever seen in my
Jesus
life.
Christ. I
I would say
can't-
I remember when they did like this Montrose reunion, right? And it was really a great thing because it was really great to see Ronnie kind of like coming back because he had some times of hard times and
Mhm,
really bad health. And
mhm,
it was cool to see him really back out there and like being put on a pedestal, you know what I mean? As
mhm.
like this great guitar player from the 70s, right?
Yeah.
Because he kind of from it was weird because I'll tell you guys flat out what was said is when um Montrose was coming back, they couldn't bill it as Montrose because Sammy's management said that Ronnie had ruined his career by playing state fairs and nightclubs.
Oh my
So
God.
when they came back, it had to say original
Oh, jeez.
Montrose. So there was a lot of
Interesting.
weirdness to it, but anyways, going to see that, right? It was like this Sammy Hagar experience kind of thing where he was like he did the Wobble Rita thing, which is the
Yeah.
worst shit ever made in music history. And then he would come out and that was actually like was cool all of a sudden. But then you had all these fucking like Real Housewives of the OC and like rich white dudes wearing Hawaiian shirts were in these like bleachers in the back that were
Oh
on
my God.
stage. Like they were on stage. To me, it was really weird. I'm like, this
Yeah,
is
that's
so lame. And that was like kind of my interpretation of like, because let's face it, like Sammy Hagar is the most famous musician I've ever met in my
Yeah.
life.
yeah.
I've never met Ozzy Osbourne in an area of like that. I've actually talked to your aunt before.
Really?
Yeah, at the show we played in, but she was like way nice. Like
No, she's a sweetheart.
just
I
like
love Anne.
so I don't know. But anyway, I've met some others. I've met Coverdale. He's a prick. The the nicest, actually, you know, the nicest of them all ever in the history of Sammy Hagar for me was Eddie.
Yeah.
I felt like Eddie
Mm,
was like, and that it always
yeah.
hurts me to talk shit on his son because I'm like, I love him. I love Eddie so much. And I'm like, so all of us guitar players are so influenced by him. And that in that light being around some of those guys I never thought it was cool though, like I never was like whoa, like I'm here, this is like the rock and roll experience, blah
Yeah.
blah blah. I looked at the punk shows with 15 people there, I was like this is where it's at.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see. I had a really similar way of seeing it when I grew up and would hear all the hard songs live. I grew up wearing the massive headphones that they put on babies,
Yeah.
and like I had my when I was when I was a baby, I had my diapers changed in the back of the tour bus. Like that was how it went. And I always saw that as like, oh, that's my parents, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my mom, that's my dad,
She's
which
at work, dude.
she's at work,
Yeah.
right? And then it only like clicked later. Wait, that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's so fucking cool.
But
And
Hart was always way cooler than Sammy Hagar was,
This
man.
is true. I'm gonna go on record because I'm not trying to like no, because I'm not trying to like encourage like I want to be clear, like Trevor's views and opinions do not reflect my own or that of this podcast. But I will say I agree with you that I always thought Hart was cooler than Hagar for sure.
I
I
mean, for the
abstain from
70s,
commenting.
the 70s shit, like, I mean, like, Barracuda was serious. There's that record is really
Yeah.
great. And Sammy didn't become
Mhm.
like the even my dad will even say John Carter, the guy that produced Sammy's first solo records on Capitol Records, he like butchered that band because they always had to put cover songs on the records
Mm.
and like
Mm.
two or three of them at sometimes,
Ugh.
and they usually sucked really bad. And I feel like that really kind of screwed him. It wasn't until like he got on Geffen and
Yeah.
they had Keith Olsen. Sammy finally wrote some good songs, and that's my 2 cents on that. And he's a great song.
Fascinating.
He was a great songwriter after that.
Mm.
So that's why I feel
Yeah.
like Hart like kicked his ass. And besides that, my grandma, uh,
Sorry, just like I love it.
Where's
I
this
love
gotta,
it,
video?
I
Trevor.
have to say this because
Trevor, man, if you want to buy the podcast from me, you're welcome to, dude.
it's so related. It's so related to Hart because it's weird because yeah, Denny is my mom's cousin. It's like a weird thing. It's kind of like your thing with Sam.
Yeah.
My
I
mom
definitely.
and Denny are the same age. They're cousins, but in
Wow.
reality, Denny is my grandmother's cousin.
Whoa.
Ah, okay. Wow.
But
Interesting.
that's not how it was like growing up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I have an aunt like that. I have a quote unquote aunt who's actually technically a cousin. Yeah.
And
Happens.
my grandmother lived with us. And
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna tell you something. I heard If Looks Could Kill so many times it is forget. I can't go anywhere in my house. I honestly think that record is so good.
It is.
Really,
It's
really
also my favorite
great.
of the album covers.
Um,
It's so good.
it's like a 90s glam photo that like
Oh, it's the
is done in the
best.
80s. So good, but such great songs on it and really catchy and some of the best female singing of all time.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's where like it's kind of interesting because like I you know, my dad even has said this. This is something my dad has said. And since my dad is like almost 80 now, and I can say whatever I want and not get reprimanded, he's told me so many times that Sammy Hagar is the worst singer ever. He's like,
Jesus Christ.
he was like, his singing was always questionable.
We're gonna
Fuck
get
me.
killed.
So
Dude, yeah,
I
we're
mean,
like,
you know, it's just how
We're
it
getting
is,
put on the
bro.
list, dude.
oh man,
It
dude.
is how it is. I'm just blunt
I
as fuck.
I definitely there's definitely now like we're gonna be on a list of like podcasts that like publish this will be like, no, you cannot go on that cast now. That it's
Oh
this is
yeah.
So,
great. I know, but I'm
so
here for it,
sorry.
baby.
I'm so here for it.
Yeah, we're here
You
for it.
know, the thing is that I just grew up in an area where you just say what you feel and
Yeah,
what's true, and I don't really like
yeah.
I don't really
Yeah,
like
I love it.
fabricating the truths of things of like what you know, we're talking about
Yeah.
growing up rock and
Yeah,
roll.
there you go.
This is the
Okay.
Yeah.
shit I
Okay.
grew up. This is the shit my dad would tell me.
I
My dad would tell me that Jello Biafra was a better singer than Sammy Hagar.
I
That's
actually
so
I won't kid you actually
funny.
that's actually not a bad opinion.
And you know what? My dad was a huge, you know, my mom, strangely, she thought there was something wrong with me when I was young because I was like
That's mothers, dude.
really, really into Slayer. And
As you
I
should
don't
be.
think there was many 7 year olds, 8 year olds listening to South of Heaven and like
Listen, me too.
I mean, and like, I think that's part of like growing up rock and roll as well, is like our parents probably didn't believe in parental advisory explicit lyrics because they were
Yeah.
like, not, they're like, no, music is art. Like,
No, I
these
had
are
yeah.
people
Yeah.
being their created selves. And my mom was like, oh my God, this is satanic. And my dad was like, my dad was taking me every weekend. My parents are divorced. My dad's taking me every weekend and buying me whatever the fuck I want. But he was a big, he probably would never say this to anybody, but he was a big fan of Metallica in the 80s.
Oh
Like
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
like,
Knew what's up.
and so in that light, he used to call them Metallica.
That's so funny.
Metallica. That's pretty good.
Metallica. And but he you know, he was just kind of cut from a different cloth of that. Like I think he just was more like he would talk a lot of shit, but then he would just try to rile people up, but then
Mm,
be like, "Hey, no, I actually really like this band like a
mm.
lot." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Primus even, he didn't quite get it
Yeah.
because when I saw Primus, I was like, "Dude,
Oh, that's
this
just
is
mind-boggling at the time.
you
Oh
know,
yeah.
I'd never heard anything like it."
No.
And I was just like the bass player's the lead guy. He took me to quite a few Primus
Yeah.
shows. Um,
I'm fucking deeply underrated band. Even as applauded as Primus is, I think Primus is a deeply underrated band.
so my
Oh yeah.
dad my dad wasn't really as corporate rock as he was really corporate rock. It was
Mm,
a job.
mm.
Yeah.
Bill,
Well said.
you
I
as the co-host of this
yeah,
podcast, you do reserve the right to say things. So,
I know,
Trevor's really,
I do.
I told you that Trevor will fucking let loose, dude. But go on here.
No,
Let's go.
I love it. I've it's so fascinating hearing your experience, Trevor, because mine was very different. But there's still a significant amount of overlap, right? Like my mom was one of the front women of
Yeah.
Heart, and so that was big. I grew up with people always wanting to talk to my mom,
Mhm.
and like always wanting to meet her and fucking give her like advice and like get her advice and like I was often used as a vehicle to like speak with my mother, which
Mm.
fucked up. And eventually I learned to kind of see it and shut it down really quickly. And that was the best day of my life when I can just say, I know what you're doing.
Mm.
No, sorry, I don't do that.
Can I chime in real quick? I just
Yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah, go
disclose something.
ahead.
I've only asked you ever to tell your mother one thing, and that was my heart joke,
Yes.
and that was it. I
Yeah.
What's
feel
the
like, and
joke?
that was, oh, you know
What
the
is
heart
it?
joke? Oh, the heart joke.
Yes.
Okay,
Tell a
so
heart
this
joke.
is my
You
heart
gotta
joke I
tell it.
wrote. What does Ann Wilson ask for when she goes to the bank?
I don't know.
Alone.
Ridiculous.
I
That's great.
And like,
Well,
and I told that, I said, hey, I know, I remember because you're getting ready to do go on tour with Heart, and I was like,
yeah.
look, I'm just asking you this thing. I'm not asking you to do anything special. Just like tell your mother's joke. Takes like 5 seconds, and just tell me how it goes over. And I felt that I think we were a little way into the podcast at the time,
Yeah.
and you were like, that's cool, but I don't feel like I'm trying to like, hey, dude, get your mom to like hook me up. I'm like, no, just I want you to tell this dumbass fucking joke
And see how it goes over.
and see
And
how it goes over.
It went over like fine.
Yeah, we were fine. I think you said. I think we said she laughed and groaned because it was such a bad
Yeah,
joke.
it was yes, yes.
But like, yeah,
Yeah.
Bill, what was your mom like listening to when you were growing up though? Like,
there you
was
go.
there
Good
anything
question.
that was
That
like
is a really good question.
prolific to you?
A lot of it, we listened to a lot of the Beatles,
Hmm.
which I mean makes sense. So did a
Yeah.
lot of fucking people growing up.
No, yeah.
But oftentimes I didn't really get to peer into the world of what she was listening to.
Hmm.
It was more of what she was listening to, like her own stuff and hearing that,
Yeah,
like,
for
and
sure.
kind of like so it was less of like what she's been listening to. But recently, I do. She's been listening to a lot of churches with this band with the churches with
Oh,
the V.
You doing all right in there?
okay. Trevor's dadding it up real quick.
I'm just making sure he isn't like destroying something, but all kids are into these days is Minecraft, so I'm just
Yeah.
go for it, bro.
He's
You know
one
what I
day
mean?
he's
Yeah.
gonna one day have to start a company, start a record company.
Earlier this morning,
and-
I made him go outside with me to just because like I skate every day, and
Yeah.
like I was like, you're going outside.
yeah, no, it's good.
That's
You're
so
gonna
funny.
watch me skate because like you gotta get off of here.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
100%,
but
100%.
that's totally fair.
So I mean, like, you know, I again like it's very probably like you said. There's a lot of differences. I mean, I mean,
Yes.
my dad is not anywhere as famous as your mom. I mean, I could say that with complete certainty.
I will agree with
Yeah.
you. Yes.
Okay, so I mean, was she taking you? I mean, like, she probably wasn't really like able to go to like take you to shows. Like my dad could like take me to Anthrax and nobody would know who the fuck he was.
Yeah, I don't think I have. Yeah, no, that is not something that really happened.
What was the first show you went to then on your
Oh,
own? You have to
on
you
my
have to remember.
own?
Yeah, on your
Well,
own.
I know Bill. We talked about you went to some shows.
Yeah.
You saw Perturbator with your dad, which is fucking
Yes.
wild.
I know. I saw Perturbator with my dad. That was fun. I think the first show I had ever went to on my own was it wasn't that Perturbator show. I think it was a Gorillaz show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Gorillaz. I think I forgot what year it was, but I was pretty young, and that
You were
was like
probably middle school, high school, then, huh?
yes, I was like middle high school. And I not on my own. I had went with a really close family friend,
Mhm.
and that was fun. But yeah, I didn't go to a lot of shows with my mom. She was usually playing the ones that I
Yeah.
had gone to.
So that's the thing is like, you know,
Yeah.
your mom has been actively touring forever. My dad just like, you know what my dad got offered after Sammy left for Van Halen? And it's funny we brought him up earlier. Ted Nugent.
Oh God.
And my dad said he was like, I asked him, I said, well, why couldn't you go play with Ted? And he goes, I can't live in fucking Detroit.
Oh my God. That's
I mean,
really
that
fucking
another
funny.
that's a deep trade down in terms of like personality, I'm sure
Yeah.
too. That's a hard Ted Nugent. I mean, we can talk about some people like I know Sammy can be hard, but like Nugent, man, is a lot.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hate Ted Nugent. If my dad
Yeah.
would have played with him, I would have made fun of him every day.
I am not a fan of Mr.
I
Yeah.
just do
Nugent.
not. I think I every time Stranglehold comes on, I know why they call it that now. Is because it's
Yep.
so fucking long that you're literally like, when will this end? It has like a few cool parts, minus him. Like the drumming and the
Yes.
keyboard shit.
Yes.
It's pretty cool. Oh God. But anyway, that's what my dad got offered, and he wasn't really into it. And that. He played in bands that were he played in local bands. And you know it's crazy is that the first band they started playing with, they were called the Bob Banks Project, and they were called LaRue before that. But Bob was like a really heavy promoter of punk rock
Mm.
in the Bay
Yeah.
Area. And guess who they shared a studio with? Young Trevor
Uh,
was stoked.
Fucking Dead
Dead
Kennedys.
Kennedys.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's got to be Dead Kennedys.
Yeah.
And that was pretty like crazy. We would be exiting and Dead Kennedys would be coming
Oh
in.
yeah.
And what's really crazy about this is if anybody has ever wondered why there's never been like a remix, remaster of the early Dead Kennedys, is that studio, because it was an actual there was like it was a studio. It burned down to the ground with all of Dead Kennedy's
Ah,
master
yeah.
tapes in it.
Oh, that's fucked up.
But it doesn't really matter though. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like that music is not meant to sound
It's not meant to sound mixed and like mastered perfectly.
for
Like,
today's standard brick wall -5 dB
yeah.
stuff. You know, it kind of has that like really cool sound of this of early punk that, let's
Yeah.
face it, everybody's trying to revisit. I'm actually glad they're playing. I want to catch them with Jello because honestly, I'm a big fan of him. I'm a big fan of his politics. Like that dude is what's up, man.
Hit me up,
So
man. Hit me up.
Yeah.
I got a route for you.
No, hell yeah.
But okay, what else? I mean, Bill. So like, is there? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that kind of. I mean, I that would be.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. Like that's actually one thing I would love to like. What like I would love to have like see your mom's opinion of like a black metal guitarist or something. Like
So I was just about to bring that up.
I'm really curious.
So the way I got into metal in the
Mhm.
first place, I think I talked about this story before, was my mom's guitar tech
Yeah.
introduced me to Iron Maiden. After little Bill saw a shirt, a Trooper shirt with Eddie on it, and I was like, I like the zombie guy. What is that? And I'm not gonna say his name. And the guitar tech was like, oh yeah, this is Iron Maiden, and we listened to it, and I fell in love with it, and it's great.
Yeah.
And I would often sit in the kind of middle central room, is like kitchen, half dining room, whatever. And I would be on the computer, like the family computer, and I was an annoying kid, and I would always listen to music on my phone at like max volume.
Oh, you're a terrible person.
I know, and I would turn it down like halfway when people were in there. And my mom would always say, like, you don't have to do that. But and then I would listen to like Iron Maiden and stuff on it. And she's like, oh wow, that's a lot. Which was so funny. And she was like, oh yeah, that's some heavy metal there. And I was like, yeah, thank you, guitar tech.
Jesus.
And I've played for her some of the more heavy, fast stuff that I've listened to, and she would always like listen to it very quietly and be like, "Oh, wow," but it was always very.
That's like such a mom reaction, dude. Oh wow, that's a great mom reaction.
And here's the thing, it wasn't. I don't think it was ever a Nancy Wilson reaction. It was always just a mom reaction, which is interesting and really cool in its own way, because like she never broke it down, and
Mm.
she could. I know she
Oh yeah.
absolutely could have just hacked it to pieces and broke it down and be like, this is where it could be improved, this is where I think it's really weak. But she was always like, I'm glad you like that. Like,
Mm.
I'm happy to hear what you enjoy listening to. And sometimes she would latch on to the stuff that I would enjoy and that I would send her. Like, I know she enjoyed some songs by Periphery, the kind of prog. They say gent is not a genre, but the kind of genty prog metal band Periphery.
Is that the guy with the really long neck that looks like an elf?
I think so. um, Let me see. Spencer Sotelo?
No, no.
No.
It was
Yeah,
funny
I
no.
don't think so.
if you put it in your phone, like long necked elf looking guitar player. I think it comes up because somebody and I we were talking about it the other day. But anyway, go on.
Oh, let me hold on. Oh, I have
I
no idea.
don't know.
Tim Jensen, Tim Jensen, Tim something.
Let me see.
I have no fucking clue who the
Tim
fuck this is, dude.
Jensen.
I don't want to spend a recording time fucking looking this
Yeah,
dude
let's
Guys,
not do
talk.
it. Anyways,
hunting this poor
Yeah.
long neck man down.
Yeah, let's just. Anyways, what I mean is that she would always just kind of listen to it with me, and she would
Mhm.
never tell me to turn it off. And in that same vein, both my parents were very much like, fuck the explicit content
Yeah.
warning, whatever the hell. Let them listen to what they want to listen to. And so I grew up listening to a combination of, oh God, Iron Maiden,
Okay.
Killswitch Engage, Wu-Tang Clan, and Cypress Hill, and Gorillaz.
Hell yeah.
So-
That's all a lot of winners there.
all pretty explicit. And they were always like, I mean, into maybe not into it, but they were always into it that I was into it. And I think that is my biggest takeaway from having two parents in the music world, is that they
Yeah.
were so open to whatever creative media I wanted to consume, or whatever creative routes that I wanted to take. And it was always very free with boundaries, of course, but like I could like kind of explore myself and what I wanted to do and what I wanted to listen to and like enjoy. And yeah, no, it was always really open for that. So I think that was a lot of the reason why I am the person who I am today, of like radical inclusion, because I was kind of given that luxury, which was great.
That's really interesting because I grew up very much like my parents. We didn't really listen to a lot of music in the house at all, except around Christmas. And most of the time we were just listening to oldies and everything. Maybe some like contemporary country. And this is like the early '90s when it was still pretty good. Like popular country was like actually fucking good.
Yeah.
And but then I always that kind of lack of engagement really made me blossom a lot in high school, try to really reach out. And my main source of like finding new bands or like new music was actually the local Circuit City, because we didn't have like Tower Records here in town.
Oh yeah.
And the guy that ordered their CDs was like in underground ass shit. Like we could get
that's
like,
awesome.
I could get all kinds of industrial. I got a lot of Skinny Puppy and KMFDM at the Circuit City. Majority of my collection came from that store.
Yeah.
And so like that was always really cool. And so there's an interesting idea of like, is it like being open can be really good, but also being like, a little bit closed off can be like good later on, can pay off later.
Absolutely.
So there's an interesting kind of notion of that. And that's really curious to hear and everything too. The like, well, look, we got a little bit more time left over here.
I have to say who the elf guitar player is.
Who is it?
Yes.
Tim Henson from the band Polyphia. Not
Polyphia. Yes. Close.
And it's just funny because I put long neck elf guitar player. Wait, no. Elf. Google search elf looking guitarist. And the first thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Search is Reddit, and it's Tim Henson.
Yeah. This guy's a little, he's a little fey looking. He's got a little fey action to him.
I mean, people love him. I'm not talking shit. It's just, I didn't know if it was
He's the guy with the thing. It's the guy with the thing. Yeah. Yeah, now you're talking about.
The
That's
guy
really
with the
funny.
elf thing.
I mean, at one point, I mean, to be clear, at one point, like Scott Ian was the guy with like the bald head and the goatee. That's how everyone knew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just that's how it goes when you look like when you're in the band, you look distinct. You're the guy.
Yeah, you're that person.
That's funny. But yeah, any kind of closing thoughts on this topic or stuff that like I mean, and here's the thing, too. I want to say from listening to you both talk was like there's a lot of love here, man. And I want to tell you, I want to be clear on it's a lot of love, and I have a lot of respect for how you guys are talking about these topics. In both being very like honest and all very we'll say very honest. Trevor more so.
Yes. I wear my held tongue as a badge of honor.
It is, yeah. It's a lot of love and it's manifested in a little discrepancies there, but we'll say. But,
hey,
yeah.
You know what? It never got me anywhere shutting the fuck up. So what difference does it make? All these years, Sammy has never done anything for me. So like, why would I give a fuck if people actually know what I really think? You know what I mean? Everybody knows that I love the Geffen shit and like. Obviously, I helped my dad get this book together that, you know, all that stuff got Martin Popoff involved and all the things that I did. So it's like, it's all with respect, but it's also with a lot of opinion because they're not really of the same, you know, what I'm into. You know, which John, like really into like British metal.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, right now you're wearing an Angel Witch shirt for Christ's sake.
I like 80s metal. I grew up in the punk scene. These guys are not of that. So obviously, there are some areas where I'm just always like, whatever. And I'll always talk shit on Wolfgang Van Halen because I'll be real. I know too much shit because of the people I know, and he's just whack. I don't know what else to say.
Fair enough. We'll leave it on whack. We'll go with whack.
Yeah.
That's a hard term to define legally, so we'll go with that term.
Exactly.
Bill, you got any kind of closing thoughts on this conversation today?
God, I am astonished at just the overlap between Trevor and I's kind of circles.
Yeah.
And
like very much so. I'm glad we've talked because that really is interesting. Yes, for sure. I mean, like I said, it's like when John and I first started talking and he was talking to like, I wonder if your dad and Nancy know each other. And I'm like, not likely because there was never, I feel like Heart was way bigger a band.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy was kind of always the opening act and he might have been too big of an opening act for Heart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In his own practicality. Maybe I think there was a couple, they definitely played some festivals. There was those
they've played together.
There was those festivals, I can't think of the name of them, but they were every year in Texas. There was these huge festivals. And I have a couple where the shirt says Heart and Hagar on the back. But Heart was a headliner of those. So but when I mentioned Denny, that's where that's really a big connection. That's a big.
I mean, yeah, if you're drumming for Denny drummed for 1/5, like almost 1/5, or probably over 1/5 of like Heart's career.
Oh, very much so.
That's not a small chunk of anyone's, like, especially a 50-year career, for Christ's sakes. I mean, that's insane. So yeah, that's cool.
That to me, that overlap is like
fascinating,
truly insane because like I don't share Denny's last name. Denny never had any biological children. He has an adopted daughter. So realistically, I'm kind of like the last. It's really weird to actually think about, but like realistically, out of my family and that side of the family, I am the only musician, and I'm the last of our bloodline playing music right now.
Get your kid an instrument off of Minecraft.
He is into music. He loves the Misfits. He loves punk rock.
Okay.
But I mean, he's very young. He takes drum lessons because, again, like I said, it's like it's one of those instruments I feel like little kids can, unless you're just
he's like 5 or 6 now or something like that.
6, but like to be a virtuoso, I'm not even a virtuoso. I had to like gain my skill from years of practice. you just, I mean, he's just not that. I'll be honest.
He's a child. I mean, that's hard to do
He's
for
a
a child's
kid.
hands.
I'm
Like
letting
that's
him be.
yeah.
I'm
The
letting him
drumming's
live.
great.
I'm letting him live his childhood how he sees fit.
Good.
Listen, when he hits like maybe 14, 15,
Put a guitar in the hand. Shove it right in there.
maybe put a guitar in the hand, but I'm also going to say he's going to really enjoy hitting drums.
I just hope I did. My biggest hope is that, like, it's kind of interesting. I hope like going back to like growing up rock and roll. I really hope that like maybe Rex sees like what I'm into is cooler than what I thought like what my dad was. Like I said, like I thought my dad's music was lame. So
Well, I mean,
I really hope that Rex like kind of attaches more to the underground.
Yeah.
Because
the artwork's better, dude. The artwork's just better.
The artwork's better.
and as Bill said, that's what sold him on Iron Maiden. Yeah, it wasn't the music, it was it was artwork.
Whoever showed you Iron Maiden, I'm so glad, because I mean, honestly, that might be one of the like that. But if Metallica hadn't come out in the 80s, Iron Maiden was that band. You see Eddie, and as a kid,
yeah,
you're really gravitate toward, especially if you like horror, like
I've always been like a horror spooky person. So
I mean, me too, and that's another area we didn't even really talk about, but maybe one day we will. I mean,
we'll have you back, Trevor, because I can tell you're bursting with opinions.
I have too many. I mean, like I've always it's been a downside, but also I feel like when you're yourself, you people get a better perspective of who you are and what you're looking for is. And I just like, I'll be real, I have strong opinions, but they always come from a good place. And I always, and John will know this, as he's probably talked to a lot of bands I dealt with. I'm a big fan of like really trying to help other bands out, and in bands, their dreams coming to a fruition, no matter what it is. If they can't afford to go to a studio, I'll have them here, record them for free, and they have something to go out into the world with. Yeah. Sometimes even putting out their records, John buys them.
Yeah, I buy a lot of your records.
Yeah.
Man.
He probably has like Crossed Hearts. He probably has Saber. I know you do.
Well, I got one of your first test pressings. I was the first person you ever sold like an actual like vinyl record to.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
Yeah, I've
been called a day zero guy.
That's awesome. You have everything though. Like I mean, you've been. I mean, like when we first met, that's probably why we connected so well. Because I was just like, oh, there's this guy that's an hour away that listens to the same shit that I do, where I don't even have somebody in my own town.
That's rough. But people that I've seen when I go to your shows, like you play here in Merced, here in my town, like there's people showing up that I didn't even know locally that were like into you, and I see haunt patches on.
Bro, those are my people. Merced is where it's at.
Yeah, there's some cool folks. I just wish they had more. I wish fucking the venues would host more bands that were like weren't the owners of the fucking venues.
You know that we played a wedding in Merced for Kevin and Devin.
Oh, okay.
I know you know Kevin and Devin or no?
Kevin,
if I showed them to you next time,
you just show them to me. Show me a picture, and I'll know who they are.
They're at all the shows that I see you at anyway.
Okay. Good to show me.
I played their wedding in Merced.
That's so fucking cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
But in Fresno, there's this like not really.
Fresno's a trip. It's a weird play. It's a weird push for the community around here. I'll say that. It always has been. I don't. That's a whole other conversation. But
we got Strummers. So
Strummers is dope. I was actually just thinking about you too. I was actually my favorite story with you was when you called me up to go see The Sword with you.
Yeah,
Fresno. And my favorite story that whole night was we were hanging out and that one dude fucking crop dusted the fuck out of us.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Like this guy just fucking walked past us, stopped and ripped the nastiest fucking fart. And Trevor was just like, and the sword had come on and Trevor was like, fuck, dude, I want to give up where we're standing and shit. But we were like really debating giving up where we were standing. I actually think you went out back and like vaped a little bit to get the smell off you.
That's so funny.
It was fucking foul, dude.
Yeah.
It wasn't as legendary of a fart as like the sleep token fart, but like the sleep token fart, but like it was like it was fucking raunchy, dude.
That's funny.
I didn't even see the guy's face. That was the worst part. But yeah, that's like my stories with Trevor, man. It's fucking like being at shows, but come on, the fuck, man. Like, and yeah, it was a party foul. That guy was a party foul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I always, it's weird. It's like I'm always like, if you gotta if your farts are that dangerous, just go into the
Go
bathroom.
handle it. Go handle your shit, dude. Like
Yeah,
literally, go handle your shit.
I mean, like, dude, it happens so much in metal, though. I'm so
Yeah.
used to it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so used to just people shitting their pants like right next to me. Like I'll go into a venue and it already smells like shit.
Yeah.
You hit the stage and you're just like, bro, this place
Oh my
is
God.
fucked,
It's just
man.
it's just cheap beer and fast food.
It is, dude.
It's
It
just
fucking
like-
is, man.
So unhealthy.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Totally the opposite.
Oh,
What's funny is like that's like the opposite of my lifestyle.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
no beer and like give me some broccoli and dip or something.
There you go.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, give me fucking chicken, rice, and maybe like spinach and like
I'm not
vodka
trying to
soda.
shit myself at the show.
Yeah, screw that.
I love where this conversation took a turn for the end of the episode, guys.
Well, you said you needed an ending.
No, it is an ending. I just didn't
What
think the
greater
rear end.
ending than taking a shit?
Yeah, fair enough, sir.
True.
All right, guys. Well,
This has
look,
been incredible.
Trevor, I want to thank you so much for coming on. I hope you had fun with this.
Yeah,
Of course,
thank you.
man.
I can tell Bill was having a riot with this. We are
Oh,
a blast,
yes.
guys. This is probably one of our funnest episodes we've done. I think.
I agree. You can tell an episode is good when you see my face and it's just like,
This is all, dude.
yeah, right.
Good stuff.
No.
Good stuff. All
Well,
right.
I appreciate you guys, man.
Appreciate you.
know.
We gotta
gotta do this. We gotta do this again.
Anytime. Any chance I get to talk to you two,
And
I'm up for it.
And everybody out there, please go check out Haunt. Go check them out on Bandcamp. Go check out Beastmaker. The new Haunt record, Ignite, is absolute fire. No pun. It is
Ignite,
not.
baby.
No pun intended. It's absolute fire.
It's
Trevor, dude,
incendiary.
you are a machine knocking out records. Dude,
Yeah.
you have a hell of a discography. So please go support him. Haunt is fantastic. You did catch him live here on tour. I don't have your tour dates in front of me, but like in some festivals.
Bunch of Pacific Northwest shit, Canada.
Yeah.
Where the
good shit.
real fucking metalheads actually are, dude. There's some sick ones
Yeah.
out here.
Yeah,
Everyone,
baby.
thank you so much for joining us for More Than Metal. We will see you next time.
See
Take
you
care.
next time.
Bye.
Rock and roll.